All right, MYB, we're right back. Champ Ron, the Minding Your Business podcast, entrepreneurship, real estate, trending news. There's no business like minding your own. As you can see, for those of you that are watching this on YouTube or wherever you're watching the video portion of the podcast, you can see that I'm not in my usual element. I'm actually out riding around. I've been driving for dollars. You know how the business can be. And I was actually out, shout out to my guy Gil. I was out looking at some properties, ongoing opportunities. So bear with me as I'm actually driving right now. I'm still being safe, that sort of thing. I'm on a familiar street, but hope you're all doing well. I appreciate your support. Subscribe to the podcast, 5-star, wherever you get your pods. That helps us continue to grow the MYB community. Man, I'm so excited for today's guest, man. I might just run off the road, man.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I might just run off the road, man. This brother, man, a proven, it's not always that you come across, proven brothers, proven rock solid brothers that, have, not just great stories to tell for podcasts and things like that, but, people were, proven in, you can see the integrity that they walk in. You can see, the pride they have in their business and their craft and how they lead their families. And that's not always common to find, man. And I found this in this brother. And, man, when I asked him about coming on the podcast immediately, he was like, yeah, man, let's do it. And that's not always easy to find either, man. And so, this brother is Tony Redeemer, man. He's the CEO of JR Investments Group, LLC, right here in Memphis, Tennessee, investing in property, helping to find and provide affordable housing here in the Shelby County area and beyond. And that takes a tremendous effort, to say the least, MYB. And so for many of you that are interested in real estate to whatever fashion that you are, today's the episode for you. Okay. And so, Tony, man, I appreciate you, brother.
Ron, did we lose you?
Yep. Hey, Tony, you still there? Or did I lose you? I think I lost you, man.
Did we lose you? Ah, there you go.
Hey, Tony,
Yeah, I'm here.
you here?
Like you
Okay.
cut out and then
Yep.
you came back.
Yeah. Like you said, it's probably because I'm here driving.
Yeah.
I'm almost back to the house, so then I'll have that straight. But yeah, Tony Redeemer, man, I appreciate you jumping in, brother, and welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you for having me, man. Always willing and able to share any
Yeah,
type of knowledge
no
that
doubt
I
about
have.
it, man. So yeah, and you're a wealth of that, man, to say the least. And so, man,
Thank you.
let's jump kind of right into it. Tell us about yourself, man. How you kind of got your start,
Okay.
and what's kind of got you to this point now, man, where you're what I would consider one of the leaders in kind of affordable housing and helping people kind of find their footing in real estate, man. Tell us how
Yeah.
it got started for you.
Honestly, man, been a long time restaurant guy. One of my passions, loved it. Did it for over 20 plus years. And one day, I was introduced. I had a friend of mine that was kind of in the game, had been in the game for a number of years, and I reached out to him just like anybody else, any other person, like just, hey man, how do you do it? And he kind of pointed me, that he got his start using the land bank and different sources of that, So I kind of started, you know, going to the land bank and printing out the list and looking
Right.
at properties and just didn't really see any potential in it. Still was working, of course, so I'm doing this part-time in my spare time, after work, off days, whatever, with whatever time that I could spare to put towards
Right.
it. Excuse me. And then after that, man, I was fortunate enough to be, I linked up with a guy out in Florida They had a few properties, and honestly, I was just out looking. Ran across the property, had a number on it, contacted the guy. He happened to have like 5 of them, and he gave me a
Wow.
challenge. He said, "Look, man, I tell you what, I'm not doing anything with these 5 properties. I give you 30 days. You can shop and do whatever you want to do to try to sell them."
Wow.
So huge opportunity, like out the gate. Now we're talking like a year later after I
Yeah.
first started looking into this, going to properties, land banks, auctions. Like I went to auctions, I did it all because I was learning and I wanted to learn every avenue that there
Yeah.
was to acquire properties. Didn't really have success. So then this guy presents me with this opportunity or this challenge. And I took it. Like didn't have a buyer to the first, didn't know how to get a buyer, didn't know how to sell, didn't know what it took to sell. I didn't even know what
Right.
title companies were at the time, right? I'm thinking like, hey, you get a house, somebody gives you cash, they buy, it's theirs, and you get the money. Like I didn't even know you had to go through a title company and do all of that, right?
Right.
But hey, it's that fake it till you make it mentality, right? So
Right.
I'm talking to this guy like, hey, I've been doing this forever. I can sell your 5 properties in 30 days. Of course, I wrote a check that I couldn't cash
Right.
because 30 days went by and I didn't have not one single lead
Wow.
at all.
Wow.
So the guy, of course the contract that was done. So but I kept at it, like because I knew he hadn't sold the properties, right? So I just kept at it.
Right.
And I would say this had to be about 3 years ago, about three and a half years ago. And again, I told you, I was a restaurant guy. So I'm at my restaurant and this guy sitting at the bar, right?
Right.
And I just talked to him like I do all my guests. They come in, simple conversation. And
Right.
I was like, hey man, you come in here a lot. I mean, this guy in particular, literally came in like every single day. Like if
Right.
he didn't come one day, it was like, hey, where's Mr. Lee? Right.
Right.
So I'm talking to the guy and he was like, man, I was asking, like, man, Lee, what you do? Just, not to get in your business, but he owns a trucking company.
Okay.
Right. Very,
Right.
very lucrative, very big trucking company in Memphis. Black guy, older black guy. Right. So immediately I'm impressed by that because I just never met, an established black man that had something that was so significant. Right.
Right.
So we got to talking about that. He was like, I know you run restaurants. He was like, do you do anything on your own? I was like, man, I've been trying to get in the housing game, but it's been like over a year. And dude, I ain't got one sale, one buyer, one anything, right?
Nothing.
Right. So me and him was just talking. He was like, man, I got a guy here in Memphis that deals with properties and he's been doing it for like 20 years. He's one of my buddies. He's like, he's very particular of who calls him, but I'm gonna have him to call you.
Yeah.
About a week later, the guy calls me, right? Like,
Right.
no lie. Like, and I was, before I say this, I got to say or tell people, never give up. Like,
Right.
you can lose every single day, but it only takes one day to win.
Yes.
I'm telling you, right?
Facts.
Because
Facts.
this guy called me, and this is exactly how the conversation went. I was like, he's like, hey, is this Tony? I was like, yeah. He was like, Lee gave me your number to call you. He said you deal with properties. Now, at the time, Ron, I didn't have a property to my name.
I know that feeling.
True story. So the guy was like, hey, man, I got a ton of investors, but I don't have properties. And I was like, I got properties. I ain't got no investors. And it was like, boom, match
Yeah.
made in heaven, right?
Right.
About a month later, we closed our first deal, and it was one of the properties that the guy had, challenged me several months before,
Right.
a duplex in the Orange Mound area. And we a month later we closed that deal. That was my first deal that I closed. It was, matter of fact, it was the week before Christmas. I'll never forget. It was December 16th was the day that we closed.
Wow.
And that was like the year and a half or so of all the losing, the networking, the emails, the just talking to people, the dead deals. Like, man, that one day just, dude, I felt like I was on top of the world. Like you couldn't tell me nothing today. I was like the most successful real estate investor ever because I had finally closed my first deal, man. And it's just one of those things, it's one of those things, man, where it taught me a valuable lesson is to just never give up, right? Always keep going. And I took that platform and I ran with it. I just took it to the next level after that. After that,
Wow.
I started. It's like everything started clicking, right? I'm talking to investors now. Um, I got sellers calling me. And mind you, this is zero marketing, zero coaching, all self-taught. And it was literally me making calls. I'm making calls. I'm talking to people. I'm asking questions. I'm asking. I mean, to me, I always say the only dumb question is the question that you don't ask, right?
Right.
So
Facts.
if that's how I learned. I didn't take a coaching's class. I didn't
Yeah.
buy a seller's list. I didn't do any of that, dude. This is all self-taught.
Right.
And people
Self-made.
ask me every day. They reach out to me every day, like, dude, how did you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do this? And I tell people, it's like it's really, really simple. And you
Yeah.
can start this game and get in this game with $0. You just got to have the hard work and the dedication and
Right.
not give up. And it will pay off.
Yeah. No doubt
Now
about
here
it,
I am
Tony.
today. I mean, I started my investment company a year ago. We're
Okay.
going strong. We've done so far this year. We've done about 8 deals,
Okay.
which is not huge, but for me, I'm small time. I'm not big. I'm not doing 8. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm doing 8 deals a month because I'm not.
Right.
Typically, I try to do anywhere from 5 to 10 a year because
Right.
I kind of break it down in quarters, right?
Right.
So you got every your quarter. So every quarter, I try to at least do a deal once a quarter, and that's what
Yeah.
people have to understand when you get into this is that this is not the get rich quick game. It's not.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I mean, last year, I lost over $10,000 last year.
Okay.
Just through some deals that didn't go right, messing with some shady characters, and I lost
Hmm.
$10,000. But I had to take that loss and bounce back. I didn't let it just knock me down, and where I wasn't, where I was like, okay, I'm giving up. I lost all this money, and
Right.
it was and then at that time last year, I chose to stop working as well, and it wasn't like a sense of where I didn't want to, I didn't want. I'm sorry. That was this year, actually. I got forced into not working because of the whole pandemic thing. So, my restaurant was
Right.
shut down, and it's like, I don't have a job anymore. And I will, and I tell people too, I think that was the best thing that ever happened to me
Right.
because I was working, I always had that to fall back on. So I didn't go as hard as I probably would have if this was my only source of income, right? So this was kind
Right.
of like
Oh
my
yeah.
side hustle, right?
Gotcha.
So I think God put me in a position to say, hey, brother, I'm finna take you to a next level, but I gotta take this away from you in order
Right.
for you to get there, right?
Get to the next. Yeah.
And so when it happened, man, I was messed up about it. I was like, man, what I'm gonna do? I got a family, I got people depending on me. I got a home to take care of, and it just started going, man. It just started going, and
Yeah.
the more and more that I'm out here, and again, I'm gonna say this again. This is zero marketing,
Yeah.
none, zero. I don't have a
Right.
website.
Zero.
I don't have none of that, right? This is
Wow.
strictly getting out there, putting my nose to the ground, driving for dollars, making phone calls, cold calling. Like that's exactly how I met you.
Classic. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how we met.
That's
Was
exactly
just
how we met.
it was two guys, just out grinding, doing their thing, and then you find out there's parallels, there's some commonalities, things like that in terms of, like you say, the approach to the business and the mindset and things like that. You know what I mean? That's what ends up
Right.
bringing, when you have the good vibes, those things, bring, connect, and
Yep.
then leads to opportunity. So Tony, tell me about your first deal, man. That's always the thing, man. And I'll tell you about
Ooh,
mine.
that
But
one
man, tell you
was
about like like, that process, to getting to the bread, getting to the money. You know what I
So
mean?
it
Walk
was,
us through that.
I took the guy out there, we took some pictures. Of course, we sent it to the end buyer. He was interested. This is how I really learned the whole process, because again, I'd never done a deal. And like I said earlier, like I didn't even know what a title company was. Like
Right.
when that was presented to me, and it was like, well, we got to do a title search and we got to do title work. And I was like, what's that? Don't he just send the money and he bought it and that's it? And he's like, no, that's not how this works, right?
Right.
So that what prompted me to learn what a title company was, what they do, going through attorneys, making sure that, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, right? Making sure that
Right.
the title is clear and the owner can buy it out. Because you hear free and clear, but you don't know what free and clear actually means, right?
Right.
So I learned that free and clear means it's a clear title. There's no back taxes. There's no liens. This is all new to me. So I'm soaking it all up, right?
Yeah.
Talked to the closing attorney, a good friend of mine now named Joe Rojas, that works for Quality Title Pro. He taught me the ins and outs. Like, no, this is how this works. You got to come and you got to sign the closing documents to sell. We got to send the contracts. I learned how to write a contract. Like, I didn't know at the time. I didn't know how to write a contract. I didn't know it was simple as it could be a simple one pager, but at the time I didn't know, right? But I learned how to do that. I learned how to word it correctly, where it protects myself as a seller,
Right.
or and protects the end buyer as well.
Yeah.
So it was. We went through that process. I learned about the title work. How long it takes for a title search to come back. I went to the title company and signed the papers. And about 2 days later, man, I got a call from Joe. He's like, "Hey, man, come pick up your check." And I was like, okay, like, all right. And I go to the title company office, man, and
Right.
there's a check with my name on it, dude, five G's. And I'm like, dude, you'd have thought I hit the lottery.
Right.
Like, you'd have literally thought I hit the lottery. That's the feeling that I had because I did learn what it taught me is that you can really make money off a conversation, right? Like, you got to have something tangible to sell, but I literally didn't do anything physical to get this money, right?
You didn't
showed
clock
up
into
at a property.
Yeah, you
didn't clock in. Showed up at a property with the investor, showed it to him, made a couple phone calls, wrote up a contract, signed, notarized, boom, and I made $5,000. And I'm like, is that easy? It's really that easy? And man, the feeling I had, dude, it was just unbelievable, unfreaking believable. I can't even put it in words. And if anybody that's out there and you haven't done a deal yet, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about when you get that first deal to go through. I'm telling you, because the feeling is unreal. It's like surreal. It's an out of body experience. And then from there, so I had to quickly wrap that up and humble myself back down, because it's time to get to work, time to do another one, time to get another one and another one. And I ended up closing 4 more deals after that within the next 4 months after that first deal.
Right.
And I couldn't believe it. But then here comes the kicker. I didn't close another deal for a year.
Wow. A year. Man. So what was so walk through that? Yeah, what was it just deals falling through? Was it just not finding the right property?
It was a combination of all of it. I had a deal that fell through, that didn't go right. The title ended up coming back. It wasn't clear. The house had a lien on it. Then I just went through this drought where I just could not find anything worth anything.
Wow.
And
this is all here in Memphis, right?
This is all in Memphis. Every deal I've done has been Memphis. I've never went outside of Memphis. In the years that I've been doing this, but like it literally took me another year before I closed another deal. So that was a huge bubble burster, I guess you could say. Like, that burst my bubble really, really hard.
Yeah.
Because I did my first deal to them, was like boom, 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 right behind it, and then nothing.
Wow.
For an entire year. Now I'm working, so at this time I'm still working, so it didn't affect me as much. But It did
Right.
take me another year before I closed another deal. And that's why I
Yeah.
tell people, like, you can be on a roll, but it's gonna hit at some point in time. We all go through it. We all go through the dry spells, the droughts, and that's why I had to learn now that this is my only source of income. I have to be very cautious. When I do a deal like that, that taught me when I do a deal, I'm looking
Yeah.
for the next deal, but I'm not like, I don't have that mindset like, oh, it's dirt, it's coming,
Right.
because you just don't know. That's the thing about this game. It's a lot of uncertainties in
Yeah.
this game.
Yeah. And the thing with that is, talking here with Tony Redeemer, man. The thing with that, Tony, is, as you're doing that, like you say, you didn't give up your day job. And that's one of the first beauties of it, particularly when you talk about today and this pandemic type society that we're in, is that you don't have to change really what you're doing. There are a lot of people that are listening to this that are now working from home, or maybe they've been displaced some other way. And
Yep,
like you said, you used it as more of kind of a supplement till you got, kind of your bearings. You're a student of the game, so you're learning the game.
yep,
You're doing the things you need to do. And then once it was at a point where, like you say, you could have it be your primary thing, then you just pounced on it. You know what I
yep,
mean? And that's what I would share with MYB community, is that, now is such a great time, man, to to leverage that. Like, a lot of people are, they may have a little bit more autonomy, in what they do than they had in
yep,
the past when they were going into offices and things like that.
yep,
Now's a great time, man, to get involved. Pretty, you know, pretty early into it without having to, you know what I mean? Like, really, grind it out so much, you know what I mean?
yep,
And
yep.
man, it's just now's no better time than now
I mean,
to
this
get
is the
involved
perfect.
in
I
real
can
estate.
tell you, man. I tell people every day, I say it jokingly, but hey, the pandemic been good to me.
Yeah,
It's been good to me.
yeah,
And I say that jokingly, but it has. And I tell people every day, man, if during this time, and there's so much opportunity for Black people right now. And I know, there's a lot of issues going on with our people, but if you kind of go past it, there's a lot of opportunity out here for us right now. We just got to
right.
go and seize it, right? And it's the perfect time to get out there and go and go and get it, man. Like, if you didn't find some type of way, or it don't have to be real estate, it could have been anything. Like, during this time, man, if you didn't figure out some type of way to get it on your own, you missed out. Like, you really, really missed out. And I say that all the time to people.
No, I
Like,
agree.
this was the perfect time for us as Black people. And I'm only speaking of our people, for us to
Right.
really get up and shine like we should. So, I mean, the pandemic has been all right with me. I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I definitely hate, all of the ramifications and the impact it's had on people. All of that, like you say, for you and I, that's all, out there taken extremely serious. That sort of thing, the impact that it's
Yeah,
had on millions of people. But like you say, and for me, I echo that same, kind of thought, Tony. Is for me, it's been very fortunate. I've been able to, kind of take a step back, really look at things, from a critical sense, look at what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and really kind of hone in on building the relationships. And I want to ask you about that piece of real estate. And we kind of opened the show with that, but
yeah,
that whole importance of right now, you can kind of scale at your own pace. But building those relationships, man, that connectivity. And like you say, in real estate, and particularly in wholesaling, and then we'll circle back and kind of define wholesaling for everybody, because I want to make sure everybody understands exactly what you and I do. Um,
yeah,
but that the whole, it's all predicated, like any piece of business, or portion of business, the relationships, your ability to be transparent, to operate with integrity,
yeah,
to operate, expeditiously when you need to, and to sit back and vet and kind of observe when you need to, and knowing how
yeah.
to balance all of that, man. Um,
Exactly.
so let's jump in from that standpoint, man. how you build relationships, man. Because like you talked about connecting with buyers, you talked about connecting with sellers. You've coached me on some things, even just in a short time knowing each other, man. You've coached me on areas of opportunity to be a little better, how to best phrase things to, again, protect that relationship, but get across, the proper message that you want to get across. Talk about that relationship piece, man, because it's so critical.
And the relationship piece is number one. I mean, you can't, especially when it comes to your investor side, right? When you're dealing with investors, that relation, like sellers, okay, you're gonna have to connect with your seller in the beginning, and you're gonna have to connect and build that relationship with that seller until that property is sold, right? And that's key, because you want a seller to be able, when it comes from a seller standpoint, you want a seller to be able to say, hey, this is a guy, I trust him. So I trust him to sell my property in the amount of time that he said he's going to sell it. And once you show that integrity and build that relationship, you don't have to too much worry about the seller undercutting you or going behind your back and selling the property from up under you, because you've built that. And see, with the seller, that's quick. You have to build that relationship really fast, because you're probably only going to have 15 to 30 days to sell the property, right? So within that first couple of days, between that first couple of days, that is critical for you to get to kind of connect with that seller, see where they are, like what their mindset is, because I've always said you can pretty much tell what you're dealing with within the first couple of days, really that first day or two, because first impressions are everything. So it only takes a day or two for you to actually know what type of seller that you're dealing with. Is he highly motivated? Is he just kind of shopping around, trying to see what's out there? Is he someone that you may think that would, kind of go behind your back and sell it from behind you? Like, yeah, you can try to sell it, but I'm still going to do my thing on that type of level. But that relationship is a quick relationship. It's quick and it has to be solid. And you cannot give a seller any type of indication that you either A, don't know what you're doing, or B, that your integrity can be questioned, right? So you have to establish that quick, and it's got to be quick and it's got to be solid, because again, you only have a certain amount of time to deal with this person, but you want that relationship to be the best that it can be until you get to your end goal, right? Which is the buyer. Now, when you talk about building relationships with investors, now that's long term, because when I deal with investors, this guy has got to trust me, right? Because he's got to trust you in order to send you a large sum of cash, and for you to come back and deliver him a property, right? So then after you've established that relationship, I mean, I'll just give you a quick prime example. I had an investor that wouldn't deal with me for 6 months. I had to talk to him for 6 months.
Wow.
Before he finally said, oh, okay, yeah, I think we could do a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, because it happens, right? And who can you blame it? I'm asking you to send me $30,000, $40,000 cash.
Right.
I mean, okay, like, yeah. So
it's got to be a trust.
Right. It's got to be some trust, and you got to be an integral person. And then on top of that, you got to deal with 90% of my investors, California, Utah, New York, they phone. That's it.
Right.
We've never had a face-to-face meeting, but they're sending me $30,000, $40,000, $10,000, $15,000 in cash, right?
Right.
So that's where with investors, you build that long-term relationship. Your first impression is key, and that's with anything. But after that, like, and I'll give you an example. Sometimes I'll just call my investors and be like, hey, man, what's going on? How's you doing? How's the family? What y'all been up to? Like a friend, right? Because, yeah, we do business together, but I still want you to feel comfortable with me. I don't want you to just look at me as a business partner, right? I want you to look at me not as a friend. Like this I can trust this guy. If I needed him to drive down to Texas today, he would, and I would, because that's how I treat my investors. To me, my investors is gold. Without my investors, there is no me. There is no Tony Redeemer. There is no JR Investment Group. None of that exists without my investors, right? Mm-hmm. But so that's where, I mean, I have investors that have bought multiple properties from me that I've dealt with for the last couple of years, and now it's got to the point they calling me. They're like, dude, where you at? What you got? What you got? I've been waiting on you. It's that type of relationship. So relationships are key. You can't do anything in this business if you don't network. Networking is first, and just like you and I, when our 5-minute phone conversation turned into a 2-hour conversation.
Right.
You know, right? Because we were just calling each other to talk about a property
Right.
that you had, you know, that you had listed. And within that 5 minutes, I mean, next thing I know, we was on the phone for 2 hours, you know, just talking about real estate. But that's the type of networking I do. I'm always here. Again, like you said earlier, a student of the game. I'm never going to walk around here like I know it all. I'm willing and ready to learn any and everything that I can. And real estate is ever changing. It's forever changing. Real estate never stays the same. There's always some new laws, some new this, or the market's here, the market's down there. This area's hot, this area's not. So, and then you turn around a month later, the area that was cold is hot now, and the hot area isn't anymore. So it's forever changing. And so networking is key. That's first. And then once you network, you gotta know how to talk. You gotta know how to be transparent with people. To where almost you can see straight straight through me. I have nothing to hide from you. And I give out anything that I know, and I don't claim to know it all, but anything I know, if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you. I have no problem with giving out knowledge, because that's how I started. Right. So why would I not pass that along?
Yeah. And keep a pin right there, Tony, because I want to get back to that with something else that you and I talked about that we want to share with this audience. And so let's keep a pin right there and not forget that very point you just made, man, which is a tremendous and powerful point. Let's circle back a little bit, because I wanted to kind of set the vibe, kind of tone with you, which I knew you would do, man. Is we kind of pounced on, the business and some different areas. You spoke on relationships, brother, but let's dial back a little bit and let's get into wholesaling. Right. Because people hear people hear this whole, can I really start with no credit, with no cash, that sort of thing. Is that really true, Ron? Is that true, Tony? We get these questions, right? And you spoke on something about networking, and you're exactly right, man. Networking and marketing are the keys to this business. Them two things right there. You got to network to build relationships and foster good relationships, which is through trust, transparency, integrity, all the areas that we all know. And then you've got to be able to market. Once you get a property under contract, you've got to be able to then market it to, the right buyer, which means you got to understand the math on it. Right. You and I've had that conversation. That's part of the coaching that you gave me, was you got to have good math right on the front end to make sure that everybody's well positioned, for the opportunity. And so, man, let's dial back, Tony, man, and let's talk about, define like what wholesaling is, kind of at that basic level for someone that's listening to this and like, what, man, I want to get into real estate, but I don't have $100,000 in cash to go buy a $50,000 property and rehab it, and my credit, I had some issues with, the baby mama, baby daddy on the apartment, and, I didn't pay the T-Mobile bill, and, I did some things. So then I'm sitting here at a 520, I can't go get, borrow nobody's loan. Nobody's going to loan me the pen, the write on the document, much less the closing document, right? On the loan. Right. You know what I mean? They won't even loan me the pen to write with. So for those folks, man, or even if you're on the opposite, say you do have the cash and you do have, the credit, but you're looking for a way to get in without even having to really leverage that too much. Because my thing is, the only money you need to bring to this is the money between your two ears, your mind. The money for marketing is there, of course. You got to have a little bit to market with, but your biggest money maker is going to be that thing that sits between your two ears and your head. Right. But hit us with that basic game, man, of wholesaling. What is it? How does it come about?
Well,
and then
people ask me it all the time, and it's like, what is wholesaling? How does it work? Like, is it true? Like, just like you said, can I get into this with no money? And I tell people all the time, wholesaling is real. But to me, wholesaling is you. Right? It's not a seller. It's not a buyer. It's you. It's not money. It's not credit. It's you. It's your mindset. It's your drive and your determination. Right? Yes. Like I told you, it took me over a year and a half before I closed my first deal. But between that year and a half, I'm out every day. Like I said, I was working, but on my off days, I'm out. I'm driving neighborhoods. I'm looking. I had to, again, we had this conversation the other day. I had to change my eye. Right? Yeah. So now when I'm out driving, I'm stopping at every vacant house I see, because
Right.
that vacant house could be that opportunity. And that is how you get in this game with no money, right?
Mm-hmm.
$0. You have to have the drive and determination first. That's all the money you need to get into this game, right? Now, when you want to break wholesaling down to what wholesaling is, so again, wholesaling is you are the wholesaler, right? So we put ourselves in the middle. First thing we have to do is we gotta find something tangible to actually sell. What's that? That's property. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to you have to take your time. You have to go when your spare time, your leisure time, or if on you, it could be on your way to work, right? And you just see a
Mm-hmm.
house, just jot the address down, right?
Right.
And we'll get into some other forms on how to find sellers. But I'm gonna tell you, man, you know how I started? I was sending out mailers, dude. Like
Yeah.
I had a letter that
Right.
I had a letter on my saved on my laptop, and all I did was change the name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Change the name.
It
I
was
would
a
go
template.
to the assessor site, the city site, put the address in, do an address search, find out who owned it. They'll give you the name and the address, right?
Right.
Man, put their name on that letter. Man, dude, I had a roll of stamps and a pack of envelopes this big, right? I'm sending out 7-8 letters a day.
Ah, hey, listen, wait, we were
I
the
think you
same,
can
brother.
relate to it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I was doing, man. I wasn't even using like paying them services and stuff. Man, I was licking stamps and I was sitting
Yes.
letter, and I was so crazy, man. I would take, I had like a thing of thank you cards. I still have this in my glove compartment, right? When I'm
Yep.
driving for dollars. I wanted my stuff to stand out. So Tony, I would get like Walgreens, them thank you cards, maybe $4 or $5. You get a pack of like 25 of them, 30, whatever. Just a blank thank you card. Say thank you on the outside. The inside of it's blank, right? And it got the envelope. I
Yep.
used to would write like a little message on the envelope. And like if I saw a house that I like, I'll either stick it in the mailbox, especially if I know the mail already done,
Yep.
as close to the mail running or whatever. I'll drop that in the mailbox. I'll write a little message on the thank you, yeah, thank you, if you still own this property, I would love to
Yep.
talk with you. Here's my number. Local here. I grew up, in this area, want to see it thrive and love to talk to you more about opportunities with your property. And, like you say, them basic kind of short, simple, not overly scripted, nothing like that, just authentic and real, like
That's
we
how I
do.
got it.
And
So that's
yeah,
that's where you look at it from seller side. I
right.
was just sending out mail. Well, we call them mailers, but I was sending out mailers and
Yeah.
didn't get a word back off of any of them. I'll say that too.
Right.
Because you don't know who you're sending it to, or if they even still own the property or anything like that. But
Right.
that's on the seller side. And then, on the buyer side, back then, before, a lot of these services start coming out, I go and see who bought properties cash in the area. I do a
Yeah.
search on the city site, and you can go to it's a little tab on the city site where you can go and see what's sold in the area. And I'm looking at cash purchases. And I would send out, I send them a mail. Hey, I got a property that you may be interested in. Never got anything back from it. And I tell people that because I like to talk about my shortcomings versus my upcomings.
Right.
Right. Because I'm not going, even though, I'm in a good position where I am now, I don't like to tell the success story. Right. I like to tell the headaches, the heartaches,
Right.
the misses, the failures, because I want people to know that. Because a lot of people start things, right? And
Right.
when they started and it's going good, and then boom, like something happens, and then they want to let it go. And I try to put that out there to people. In real estate, you got to be ready to take losses. You got to be ready to accept failures. You got to know that I'm sending out 150 letters this month, and I may not even get one response back. But that's not going to stop me from sending out another 150 next month.
Right.
You know what I
It's
mean?
that whole grind.
You got to stay. You got to grind, and you got to stay on the grind. And as long as you do that, and you network and you build those relationships, eventually it will click.
Well, and let me jump in with you right here on this, Tony, because you talked about like with you right, and talking about people being as the wholesaler. It's no different than Sam's Club or Costco, right? They create a club, right? They make it exclusive to its members. They Bounty toilet tissue, right? Whoever make that Johnson, whatever company makes Bounty toilet tissue, whatever, right?
Yeah.
They go and Bounty says, okay, for this pack of 8. Or let's just say paper towels. So this thing of 8 paper towels, we're going to sell it to you for $2. Sam says, okay, we could put it on our shelf, which is real estate, right? That's really the space, anything, space, that's real estate. They're a real estate company. They have a space on the shelf that says, okay, we buy it for $2. All right. We have buyers that come in our store that are our members that will buy it for $10.
Yep.
All right. What's the spread? That's the $8, the difference between the 2 that it costs to acquire it, right? And then the 8 difference from the 10 that someone's going to come in and buy it. Now, and just to make sure that our audience can understand is you can buy things on contract. One of the things that we have to break down with people is this notion, because none of us were around before the 1930s, right? There's very few people that were living now that were grown in the 1930s. There are folks still living that were born in that decade, but they weren't grown. And so we don't know how real estate before the mortgage, right? And I'm putting my banker hat on, before the residential mortgage, that hasn't existed. It's barely not even 100 years old as far as the commonality of having the 30-year mortgage, right? Before that, this is how real estate sold, right? With a contract. The simple contract, Tony, you talked about the one pager. What you're purchasing then on the contract is the equitable rights to a property. Equitable, right? Yes. And so when you hear NYB, Tony and I talk about, using the kind of that, more of like a one-page contract, a sales contract, right?
Super simple.
And you're purchasing it. The difference with us is a real estate agent wants to list your property to sell it mostly retail. Right, they're going to sell it at value. You have to have it in a condition to be able to sell it retail, right? And so with us, we're typically working with properties that are distressed, with people that are motivated to sell for whatever reason. There's some event, something has triggered a motivation to sell, which essentially anybody, as you said, that's selling has some level of distress. Even if their distress is just to cash out, there's some level of distress. So you have to understand that and respect that, your own motivation and the motivation of, a seller and a buyer. And so I want to kind of paint that for people to kind of understand that your real estate agent is going to charge a percentage, and they're great. They're going to list your property on the MLS, and they can help you sell your property. And then you're going to pay them a percentage, right?
Exactly.
Whereas with a wholesaler, we're taking the equitable rights on a property by putting it on a contract and then selling that contract to typically a cash buyer. Someone that could come from anywhere that wants to purchase property. They come to someone like us and they say, "Hey, Ron, hey, Tony, you have that property under contract for $50,000. I'm willing to purchase that contract from you. I'll pay $60,000. That difference from the 50 and the 60 is $10,000 that I will pay you. So I will pay you a wholesale fee of $10,000 to get that contract." Why would they do that? Okay, they do that because they know the property's worth $120,000, and they're going to put X amount into the rehab of that property, and their goal is to fix it up, put a tenant in it, earn income, and or to flip it to even someone else. Right.
Where they would flip it at retail.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's really kind of that basics of the deal. And so, having obviously the contract to be able to, the sales contract, you'll be able to assign it to someone else. And that's what that is. You are assigning it, no different than Sam's and Costco. They're doing the same thing. Get it at $2. Basically assign it to you. You're the cash buyer. You put the 10 down. Sam's takes that $10 gives 2 to Bounty, puts 8 in their pocket.
Yeah.
And they do that all day long with
And
stores
that's
all
why
over
I
the
said
world.
that, because like people, when they say what's wholesaling, I
Yeah.
don't believe in wholesaling. I believe in a wholesaler, but not wholesaling. And I'm gonna kind of break it down, because
Yeah.
wholesaling, people try to say wholesaling, but wholesaling isn't anything without you getting the property, getting a buyer, and then connecting the two. And then
Right.
you get, like you said, equitable interest with this seller. You've done your numbers, because we need to talk about math and numbers. So you've done your numbers. You know what these properties could be potentially worth, right? You got a motivated seller. You negotiate the price or whatever to what you want it to be. And then you get with the end buyer and add your fee to it, whatever you want your fee to be. And I say that too, because you spoke on fees, right? And you used 50, 60. $1 is $1 and zero is zero all day long, right?
Yep. Facts.
If I make $100 off a deal, I don't care if the deal was a $2 million deal. If I make $100 off of it, I just made $100.
Right.
And you got to learn that with wholesaling, do not jump in this game thinking you finna make bukus of money really fast, like you finna get a house for 20 and sell it for 60. That's so uncommon and so rare. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's so uncommon and so rare that like you and I discussed, man. We 1,000 here, 1,000 there, 500 here, 2,000 there. Like money is money, period. So never, because you could potentially cut yourself out of deal because your fee too high. You didn't put too much markup on it. You can't get an investor to buy it.
Right.
So always, go into this game. Once you get your ARV, or you get your numbers, you run your numbers, you know what the property's worth. Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy. See, we talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
I want the deal, not the money.
Right.
Because the money will come.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna.
And let me jump in with you right there, Tony, because I had another guest on this podcast that said, and this is a guy that's made millions several times over. He said the exact same thing you just said. He's out in California. I had him, a few episodes ago. He said the exact same thing that you said. When he did his first early deals, he's from overseas. They used to call him Dr. Fresh, right? And those that are listening, y'all remember the episode that I'm talking about. He was on this. He was sitting at his mansion with a robe on by the pool doing this interview with me.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right.
Now back in the day, he said when he went through his story, I asked him to tell him about himself. Dude didn't come up for air for almost an hour going through his story. He told me the whole story, like Morgan Freeman narrating a movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
And what he said in that was what you just said, which is his early deals. He didn't make anything. He was trying to get his health products in like Walgreens and Kroger, all these different stores. And he was building those relationships, and he wanted to do the deal was more important. Even if they came back and said, well, you got it for $2, we'll get it for $2.05. He did the deal, right? See, most of us, we look at, because we want the sexy win. We can't wait to take a picture and put it on Instagram or get on Facebook. We chase wins. Yep. Right. And I get it. And you and I talked about that. Like, you can't get caught up in trying to chase the win for the glory of feeling good and then having other people on Facebook comment about how, oh, congratulations, how great that is. You can't live for that. The whole idea is that relationship and doing the deal. And so by him doing those early deals, though, what he did was that got him in the door with the contacts at Walgreens and all that. So what happened was it sold so damn quick that they hit him back and was like, we need more of this because, it's getting light on the shelves and people coming in asking about it. So now he had leverage.
Yep.
All right. So now he said, well, I can't do it at 205. I can do it at 405. They said, we don't care. Get it over here. Yeah. That's right. You talk to the invoice people about that. Accounts payable. Get it. I don't care what you say. Get it over here. Right. But see, only way he could do that was doing that initial deal. And most people, like we say, Tony, they come into like real estate, whether they're an agent, they get licensed and become an agent, or they are an investor. And because they see other people get on YouTube talking about how they made $150,000 on a property and flashing the check and all that, they don't do the research behind that, by the way. And so they get caught up and suckered into thinking, like you say, this is I'm gonna get into this and I'm gonna, buy me a car, I'm gonna pay off all this debt, pay off my student loan, and you may do that, right? But your mindset has to be, let me build a relationship by doing the deal. And that's, if there's any single thing that I loved about you when you and I first was talking, was when you told me that about your motivation, right? And to be able to see a deal get done, even if I got a skinny spread, because that relationship, that's what goes on to the next piece. That's what's really going to last. See, sometimes, people get those big fees like that, but they pissed everybody off along the way. And they were so abrasive that
the last deal you do.
And then, so what you don't want to do in anything that you're doing is you don't want to get one-time hits. That sounds good, but let's just say you get a $50,000 hit on something. The IRS will be right there. Okay,
that's first.
Where yet?
Yeah, Uncle Sam gonna want hit.
Yeah, because they're tracking everything now. So here he is, right?
Yep.
Then you get so caught up in that, when that money's gone, you don't have pipeline ready for the next deal. See, if you do a skinny deal and you show sellers and buyers that you legit, you transparent, you communicate, you don't go ghost, you there, hey, you tell the truth, all that type of thing, then what happens is, they start bringing you in. See, a lot of people don't understand this. I want to get your thought on this, Tony. A lot of people don't understand that power of that vibe. Like, you do a good deal at Square, all of a sudden they see that you have those qualities, and so now they say, man, Tony, you know what? I got this other one I'm trying to move. It could probably make you some good money, but I'm trying, you think anybody would want this? All of a sudden, opportunity, people start emailing you, hitting you with opportunities
everywhere. Yep.
So your grind ain't, you're not spending so much time grinding all the time, because you got to kind of almost kind of, you got to sell so much. See, that's the thing. So people got to sell so much. I got to sell myself. I got to sell, that I'm doing this. I got to, so you end up overdoing it instead of just building a relationship. And I found even, this recent period of me really getting into it heavy, I got an inbox right now of someone, that sent me properties. I was driving by that said, man, Ron, I saw this. I think it'd be good for what you're doing.
Right. Yeah.
Talk about that, Tony, right. Man. I want to get your opinion on that.
Hey, look, there. We for the most part, wholesaling is a one-man show, but there's nothing like having a team. There is absolutely nothing like having a team. If you got a team, and it doesn't. When I say a team, I'm not talking about 15, 20 people, right? I'm talking like if you got one other person or two other people that's out there, and they may not be grinding as hard as you, right? So let's just say I got a buddy, and I'll use this example. I was talking to one of my guys, right? And he wants to get into the game. And I told him, I was like, look, dude, don't change anything you're doing. Don't change anything you're doing. It's just change your eyesight. When you ride through neighborhoods and you see a vacant house, write the address down. Send it to me.
Change your eyesight.
Yeah, change your eyesight. You know what I mean? And when you're riding around just to your daily routine and you see a property, just jot down the address. Send it to me, and I will do the rest. And we'll try to get you a deal done. And he's like, that's all I got to do. I'm like, yeah, that's all you got to do. That's it. Just that simple. And it's nothing like having that second set of eyes or that second person or third person that's just out there. Like you said, you just got an inbox. You ain't left your house, but now you got a property to go look at. Yeah. Right? That is key, and it's important. Not saying it's something that you have to do, but if you have the opportunity to have another person on your team, whether it be your spouse or best friend or mother or whoever it is, if you can utilize it, I would definitely. Because it may be some days I may be tied up all day. Like I think Monday, I was tied up in the closing all day Monday because me and you were trying to connect. But I still got 4 text messages about properties, 4 text messages and 2 emails. So I still had things to go look at, or I still had things to check out, or some callbacks or do some cold calling to see, what, to get to the bottom of the deal. But yeah, man, that building that team, that is like, you can't go wrong with it. If you got somebody that you can trust, that you know what I'm saying, that has your best interest as well as you having their best interest, you definitely cannot go wrong with that. I would say this though, before you do that, I would learn as much of the game on my own first.
Right.
And that's just me, my personal opinion. Don't take that to heart. But in order for me, and I can't teach you what I don't know, right? I can't teach you something that I have not either experienced or learned myself. And I
Right.
can't give you an opinion on it as well,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
But
No, very true.
but if I know the game and I'm learning the game, and and like we said, I'm learning every single day, every day. I'm never gonna preach to you and sit here and tell you, oh, I'm gonna show you all. I'm not even gonna sit here and tell you hey, come aboard with me and I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna make you $100,000 in the next 6 months. Nah, that's not true. That
Right.
is not true. And I hate these. I'm not gonna. I mean, hey, the way you get your money is the way you get your money. But these coaching programs and these make money and all of that stuff, man, a lot of
Yeah.
those guys ain't done deals in years. They are
Right.
strictly
If at
making
all.
money off of coaching programs.
Right.
That's how they
Exactly.
making their money. They ain't done deals forever. Like all these guys from fix and flip and all that, they go around having these seminars. Man, these dudes ain't done deals in forever. They
Right.
going around the country making money off of you and me, telling us, charging us for free information.
Yeah, exactly. And so let me jump into this because you gave a nice segue into what I know you and I wanted to present to our listeners. And so Tony and I, by connecting, Tony Redeemer, Champ Ron, by us connecting, we want to be able to help other people get involved and get into real estate investing. Okay, like Tony said, what I want to share with you all, and there's going to be notes in the show notes, and for those of you all that are on Facebook, inbox either Tony or myself. Reach out to him and let him know that you heard him here on the Minding Your Business podcast. But what we want to do is we want to put together a network. We want to put together a team. Okay. We ain't
free.
trying to get everybody in the
Put
world.
that out
Yeah.
for free.
Yep.
We're
Yeah.
not
No.
charging.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get to that. Yeah, because that's gonna be that's our strong point. We want to put together a team, and we want to help people become real estate investors. Now, listen, you could do the due diligence on Tony and I. Those of y'all that listen to this know how I operate. Okay, if not, go to champronbrooks.com. Call me 901-545-3328. Call me, text me. All right, we can have that conversation. But I'd love to get 10 of you all that are serious about getting into real estate investing. What Tony said is absolutely correct. We're not charging anybody a dime. We will share with you, what we use, the contract, the documentation that we use. We'll share with you the knowledge as we learned it. If we don't know, we go tell you we don't know, and then we go get an answer. Okay. But we want to get 10 of y'all that want to get into real estate investing. What we want to do specifically is show you how it works. We want to show you how real estate investing works, how to be a wholesaler, how to work with buyers and sellers. You can do that from your phone and your computer right at the house right now. You don't need to go buy anything. Okay. If you're listening to this podcast, you have everything you need to do, because you're listening to this on a phone or a computer. So you have what you need. You have the internet and you have a device. That's all you need. We want to help you. So as you're going around, we want to show you how to identify opportunities. Okay. We want to track those opportunities that Tony and I can follow up on. We will do the legwork for you. Put us to work. We will do it for you. You don't have to
doing
go
it anyway.
Yeah, this is not you picking up another job. This is not you sitting in some class all day and looking at videos. No, we want to get Tony and I get on, just like Tony and I are talking right now on this podcast. We will get on FaceTime with you. We will get on Zoom. We will get whatever. You'll look at us right in our eyes, and we will teach you how to find opportunities, whether that's not on the market, that everybody else is not bidding on. How to find opportunities for properties, how to work with sellers and talk with sellers, and how to work with buyers. Yeah. And we will do deals together. See, this is different. Like Tony was saying, this is different than your coach. So your coach, what he or she wants to do is everybody's got 3-step, 5-step, 50,000 step process, right? And they're going to charge you, say $5,000, but you're going to learn everything, not know what to do. Then when you want them, they're going to say, well, you got to do my next program, which is 25,000. And then I sit down we're not playing, Tony and I are not playing that game. What we want to do is we go sit down with you. We want to we'll do a deal together. where you're on the phone with us as we're talking with a buyer, as we're talking with the seller. You're going to hear the interaction, and they're going to know that you're on the phone. Okay. But we're going to have you on with us. So you're going to hear what we say, and you're going to hear what we're told, and how we do rebuttals, all that type of thing. And we're going to split a deal with you to help you get in, right? To help you get in. So you're not paying us out of your pocket. So out of your work money, your W-2 income, you're not paying us that. We just want serious people. Okay? Serious people. Okay? Jessica, you're exactly right. Yep. We love to have you, Jessica. Danielle, inbox me. Champ Ron Brooks, inbox Tony Redeemer. Inbox us both. You can copy us both, however you want to do it. If you get to one of us, you got both of us.
Right.
But let's do this. I want to get 10 people. Just 10. If it's more, that's fine. But let's get 10 people that want to be a little better for themselves, a little better for their family, a little better for their community. And come learn from us, and we connect you within our network. Don't change what you're doing. I know if you're there, you're at home with the baby, you're traveling, you're doing different things. Don't stop what you're doing. Just get involved with us, learn, right? Learn, how to work with title companies, everything that you can do deals with us, and you'll become comfortable after being with Tony and I, that you'll go do deals on your own, and we become investors with you. Okay. But you got to take the step. Tony and I can't come to your house and make you do nothing. And we're not trying to do that. Yep.
Gotta be on you.
Go ahead, Tony.
I'm saying, you're right. I mean, it's got to be, serious-minded people. We're not promising anything. We're not guaranteeing anything. I'm not even gonna tell you that you're gonna make $1. I'm real like that. I'm gonna be blunt, right? I can give you all the knowledge in the world, but it's still gonna be up to you to do the leg work, do the footwork, and to actually soak in the knowledge. But I'm not promising anything. I'm not gonna tell you if you come and you talk to me that you're gonna walk away and make $1 million the next day. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not even gonna tell you that you're gonna make $1, because I like to keep things real, and so many times I believe we kind of sugarcoat things. Like, we know what the outcome could be, but we sugarcoat it. So It's like, it's like a tap instead of a smack, but it's real. I mean, it's real. I can't guarantee you're gonna find a property. I can't guarantee you're gonna buy a buyer. I can't guarantee any of it. What I can guarantee is that I'm gonna give you all the knowledge that I have, everything I know, every program I use, scripts that I use. I mean, you and I was just going over a script this morning for a potential seller. So I can give you all of that. You know what I mean? And then the rest is gonna be, what your drive, what your motivation is. And I can tell you this: if you do want to contact myself or Ron, know where you want to go. Don't just contact us and be like, "Hey, I'm interested." Know exactly where you want to go, what you want to do, what is your goal. Right? Like, if you want to make this a side hustle, or where you making a little bit of extra cash, know that. If you want to do this full time and this is something you really want to dive into all the way, know that as well. Come in the game knowing where you want to go, because if you don't have a plan or a path, you're never going to get anywhere. You're just going to be spinning in circles. So I truly encourage that. You can call me anytime, 901-212-4429. I'll talk for as long as you want to talk. I'll give you as much information as you need, or any information that I know. And if I can't, then of course, like Ron said, we can get the answers, because we have a network and we know a lot of people in the game. But for you as the person that's listening to this or coming into this, just know where you want to go. You got to do that first. Sit down, because anybody can say, and I used to have an old mentor of mine, that anybody can say a plan, right? Oh, this is what I want to do. I want to do this, this, and this. But I guarantee you, if you get a pen and a paper and you try to write that plan down on paper, and from first step to 10 step, it'll take you all day.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. And you probably won't get finished. And I learned it from an old mentor of mine that was like, write it down on paper. Like, you just told me everything, now write it down on paper. And once I got there, I was like, wait a minute, that might not work. Wait a minute. No, I want to go. You see what I mean? So I just say that to say, know where you want to go in this game. Come into this knowing that hey, I want to do it this way, I want to do it that way. Because then that helps us to tailor to the information that we give you, the direction that we take you in, because you know where you want to go. And I'm pretty sure we probably been down every avenue that you're thinking of. So, just know where it is, and then we'll know how to deal. We'll know how to cater to you and tailor to the information that you need. Like I had a young lady reach out to me last night after I posted the podcast. She reached out to me and she was like, how do I start? And I told her to call me, and I was like, so what are you exactly trying to do? And she's like, I want to get into real estate. I was like, no, what are you trying to do?
Yes.
She's like, I want to get into real estate. I'm like, but how? Right? I'm asking those open-ended questions, but how? Well, do you have money? No, I don't have money. Are you planning on like using credit or no, I don't want to do that. I said, so you want the $0 plan, right? To come in with $0 and make money. Well, there's a certain way you got to do that. And then I hit and I was like, well, you need to start looking at addresses. And she was like, what you mean? I said, you need to start, driving for dollars and looking for properties. And she's like, that's all. I was like, well, that's where you start. That's pretty much where we start. That's what we do every day. I know you and I was talking about a few programs that charge for it and stuff, and I know you and I was discussing it like, dude, nothing beats driving for dollars. Nothing beats driving for dollars, because that's where you're making your own list to get with sellers, to potentially get with sellers, and then to potentially acquire a contract and then flip it out to an end buyer. But just back to the beginning, just know where you want to go. That's it. Know where you want to go, and then I can tell you exactly, hey, that's gonna work. That's probably not gonna work, or hey, you're gonna have a hard time. I mean, it's just knowing what you want to do in this game.
Exactly. And the big thing is, like you said, identifying opportunity. And this is, kind of a parallel for anything in life. A big thing, part of success is showing up, right? And it's being able to recognize opportunity and be able to quickly vet it and then pounce on it. Right.
I hate when people say real estate investing, because in order to invest, that means you have to put money in it, right? We don't do that. So it's really not real estate investing, it's time investing, because that's what you're gonna spend, your time, which will pay off to make money. Because if you say real estate investing mean I'm coming with a large sum of cash, I'm gonna buy this property outright myself, rehab it. Now that's real estate investing. What we're doing is time investing. Because that's all we have invested is our time.
Yeah, definitely. And Danielle, appreciate your comments, and I'll check my inbox as soon as we get done with this, Danielle, and connect with Tony and I. So Tony, let's look at connecting with Danielle. At some point, either later today or tomorrow. We'll coordinate in the inbox, and we'll learn a little bit more about Danielle and kind of what her goals are. And we'd love to have her to be a part of this. And like I said, we want 9 or 10 more Danielles who are ready to take action. This is not fluff. This is not cap. This is, this is not sexy, right? This is, determining what you want to be. And that's kind of what Tony ultimately was describing earlier is, there's what you want to do. And then, I had no mentor to ask me, what do you want to be? Right. And that's a different way of kind of viewing it. What do you want to be? So that's the question I'm asking you. When you come in, my first thing is, what do you want to be? Right. Because it's one thing, like Tony said, you want to, I want a real estate invest. I want all these things that you want to do. Right. But what do you want to be? Right. For me, I want to be a connector. I want to be someone that brings people together, that connects people to resources. That's what I've always been. I've always been a platform builder because I love connecting people, because I've been on different sides of life and I've experienced different sides of life. I've been around people who have done extremely well for themselves. I've been around people that have had challenges in that area. And so I understand them both. And my goal in life is always to bring those people together so that they have a perspective of each other that's different than the stereotypes that they're told. That's me. That's wrong. Tony's described his motivation, what he wants to be. So we want to learn that with all of you. And once you know what you want to be, not your title. So your title at your job, your title with this, whatever, the title you put on your business cards that's just a title. Anybody can call themselves whatever they want to call themselves. Right. But what do you want to be? That's what's going to determine your reputation with your buyer, with your seller, with your family, with your community, and even just with yourself. Right. Exactly. And so we want to do that. We want to work. Again, it's no cap. It's no fluff. Yeah, again, we're not asking for nobody's debit card. We don't want your credit card. We don't want any of that. What we want is, your commitment to grind. And if you do that, you will be successful. You'll be able to meet your goals, and you'll have Tony and I as resources in helping you do that. That's it. Right? Don't go around. I know there's people all over the place. You get routed to websites, like Tony said. Everybody wants money for to give you their coaching program. You see, Tony and I giving away game for free.
Free game.
You listen to this podcast, you listen to it for free. I ain't. This is the 206th episode. I ain't charged nobody a dime for one episode, Tony. And I've been doing this over 3 years. I ain't charged one person yet.
Knowledge is power, man.
Yeah,
knowledge is power. And that's me, and just to piggyback on saying, what you want to be. That's me. Like I have that pay it forward mindset. Like I said, I shared earlier in the show. I started by networking, by asking questions, by people telling me, like, and now that I've gained the knowledge that I have and been through, been through a couple of different experiences, I want to tell other people, like, I don't want to keep this knowledge bottled into myself. I want to tell people. I want to tell people how I did it. I want to tell people, hey, use this, do that, do it this way. Like, go to this area. This table is big enough for everybody to eat. So I don't need to withhold anything or withhold any knowledge that may help the next person eat a little bit better. I'm not going to withhold it. And that's what I want to be, that go-to, that resource, where I can take the little bit that I know. And it's little. I'm not going to, again, I don't claim to know everything. So it's little, but I want to give it away. And I want to give it away to as many people that I can. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to just say this to everybody. Like, when you get into this with us, you're really going to be like, that's it. Like, that's all. Cause it's really that simple, y'all. No lie.
Right.
Like, we're not going to give you a 200-page book of no. We talking 5-10 pages, if that, because it's really just as simple. It's all about the time and the grind. That's it.
Right.
That's what makes the difference. We ain't doing nothing special. We're not super smart. I told Ron that the other day. I was like, dude, I'm probably the dumbest person you know. I don't like for real.
I'm
not telling you. I know. Kind of dumped that off, but again, what we gonna tell y'all, or the information that we gonna give y'all, is not. It's so simple that you're gonna be like, nah, they BSing, they capping. It's more to it than that, and it's really not. It's really not.
It's really not. And so, you all, again, email me, ron@champronbrooks.com. You can email Tony at tonyredeemer@yahoo.com. You can email, if you're on Facebook, you can inbox us, but let's connect. We've already had, Latrice, shout out to you, that's looking to reach out. Sharita, thank you so much for watching. Danielle, of course, we want to get with you. My guy, Andre Harris, with the Main Hustle podcast. I was happy to have been a guest here recently. Him and his co-host have tremendous guests. So shout out to Andre. Andre's a real estate guy too, so we'd love to have you, Dre, as part of the team. You and I've talked, man. You know what it is. So it's time to get it. Let's see. I'm going to it. Jessica, thank you so much for watching. Inbox us. We'd love to have you. Whoever Bonbon is, Bonbon. Let's go. Yeah, Bonbon, we can get the bag. Let's go. Tytra, what's going on? Love to connect with you as well. She's doing tremendous things in the community. And so for all of you watching, I was just shouting out some of the people on Facebook, but all of you is watching, let's connect and let's do it. Tony, a few closing remarks for you, man, as we get out of here. Just leave us with something.
Man, I think I laid it all out on the table.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna repeat myself. It only takes one day to win. That's it. You can lose 1,000,000 times. It only takes one day to win. And don't give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. That win is coming. You just got to keep going forward, keep grinding, get out there, make it happen, and it will come. I'm telling you, God blesses his true soldiers. That's my close.
Dig that. I appreciate that. Tony Redeemer, man, I can't thank you enough, man. I've taken up so much of your time, brother,
man,
over these last couple of weeks.
We probably would have been on the phone anyway.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt. Matter of fact, we go get on the phone when we get done with this.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
a deal that we're looking at, that's a tremendous deal opportunity. And I'll close with this: that as you notice, you've heard me say a few times, you've heard Tony say this, that we're not the experts. I've been able to get coaching from Tony, just in a deal. Even I've been doing this for some time, but it doesn't mean that I know it all. And see, that's the difference in spirit that you get with us. Some guys and girls get to where they know it all, can't nobody tell them nothing, and that they're just going to BS their way to whatever answers they give you and that sort of thing. I'm quick I told Tony, man, listen, I don't know. I need help on this script. I'm getting ready to talk to a seller, and I need help on to make sure I position this opportunity right. And he's able to provide that, you know what I mean, in his own way. That's going to help it be that much better. But you have to have that level of humbleness. So that's what I'm looking for with people we go work with. I'm not looking for people that want to know it all. I'm not looking for people that's trying to get over. I'm not looking for people that just want to talk. They just want to be the ideal people. Oh, let me come up with the idea. No. This is about action, right? And so I want to leave that with you. My question: what do you want to be? All right. Listen, thank you, Tony Redeemer, man. We're gonna be talking right after this. Yeah, and I'm gonna have you back, man. So don't act like
I'm ready.
See, here's my thing, man. When you come over to my house, the first time you can ask me, hey, hey Ron, can I get some out the refrigerator? Yeah, Ron, can I get some out the pantry? Second time you come over to my house, Doc, ain't no asking. Right? Yeah, you home. Yeah. So I'm gonna look at you crazy if you say, hey man, can I get some of these chips? Hey man, what you talking about, man? You at home.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, so that's how you are, man. So when like you said, that's how I do with my guests. Anytime I meet somebody, first time you come, yeah, you can ask me for a drink of water, whatever. Second time, you take your ass in there and get your drink of water. You see what I'm saying? But my brother, man, my brother Tony Redeemer, man.
Hey, I love to come back on anytime, man. Anytime.
Yeah, we gonna come back because there's so much more that we can teach and learn, man. And we might even have to look at doing our own thing on the podcast, man, together. So, man, let's not forget that idea, man. I think there's an opportunity as we're doing this to create our own kind of lane on the podcast piece as well, Tony. But thank you again, brother.
No problem.
Yeah, thank all of you for listening. Make sure, again, go to champronbrooks.com where you can connect more with me and my ventures. And I'd love to hear from you, good, bad, and ugly. Listen, this has been episode 206. We're going to get out of here. Go enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, there's 3 things that unite us all, no matter how we look in the mirror or where we come from. We all want to be a little better for ourselves, a little better for our families, and a little better for our communities. And if we remember all 3 of those areas when we meet someone, when we meet another human being, if we keep those things in mind in high regard, that we all have, that goal that we're striving to. We take different routes to get there, right? But we all are striving for that goal. And if we keep that in mind, we'll all make this place just a little bit better. Champ Ron, the Mind of Your Business podcast.
Well said, brother. Well said.